this is kind of weird. Again, welcome in everybody. It is your boy Coach Sean in the building, and I'm a faith-based relationship coach here to help you build healthier, happier, and whole relationships with yourself, with God, and with others. Because without the first two, relationship with others just simply are hard and difficult to build. And we're building security that lasts beyond marriage over here. Listen, I have a cornerstone video live on my YouTube right now that just explains everything that we do here, where we're coming from, and why it matters to you. Go check it out on my YouTube page. Matter of fact, if you just send me a message, I'll be able to send it to you. Matter of fact, I'll pin it in the comment section here for everybody to get a hold of it. All right. Um, and it's a groundbreaking video, okay? And something that you're really going to need to know when it comes to the healing, when it comes to being secure, all right? Again, just sitting here, getting some of these keys together, you know? There we go. Don't know how that got erased. Okay. So we got our first caller, or at least we did, if they're still around. Danny is in the building. Uh-oh, Danny in the building. How you living?
Hello.
Hey, hey.
Hey, how do I explain it?
Uh-huh.
I'm currently like hooking up with someone, and like I'm 27 and he's 30,
Okay.
and I kind of don't want a relationship right now. Like I'm really am trying to like focus on myself, better myself, build a community for myself, friendships and all of that. Um, So I did meet him on Hinge, and I think for now, because I'm content in what we have going on, there's no need for me to go back onto Hinge. Like we don't communicate every day or anything like that. But I feel like I get confused from his end because it seems like there's a lot of. Is that me? That sound? It's like a squeak sound. I don't
Oh, is
know.
it squeaking? Hold on. Are you good? Let me see. Talk again.
Hello.
Oh, you should be good.
Okay. But I would call it pillow talking. Like after, we hook up, he's like being more emotional. He wants to cuddle. I'm setting my alarm clock for like 12 a.m. so I can go home. And he's like, oh, you're not sleeping over. And everyone that I've explained this dynamic to, they're like, you're stringing him along. Like, it sounds like he likes you. But from my end, it doesn't sound like he likes me like that. And like one time he was like, "Oh, you would get along with my friends." I kind of changed the subject. On a different day, he was like, "You should hang like you would get along with my friends," and I was like, "I'm not meeting your friends." He seemed kind of like, "Oh, okay." And today we were texting about a movie, and he brought up, "Oh, you would love my friends," and it's like, why do you want me to meet your friends? Why do you constantly want to like cuddle? And I just want to understand it because I've only been dating for 2 years. I am autistic. I don't understand men like that. So, and like from my end, the reason why I don't want to hang out is because I know, like myself, I get attached to people. I don't want to engage in that way. And I've explained that to him, and he was like, "Well, do whatever you feel like you need to do, you know."
Mm.
But then he keeps throwing it out there, like, "Oh, like your friends would, like my friends would love you and stuff like that." Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so your biggest question is what do you like? How do you go about this? What to do about it? What?
Yeah, like I'm just trying to understand it because everyone keeps saying I'm stringing him along.
Mm.
Um, it sounds like he likes me. Um, I don't know.
Yeah. So, number one, um, I think it's very important to acknowledge from a how do I want to go about this? No, let me just say
No,
it.
just
I'll say it like this. It is stringing him along, but in this direction. Okay, maybe not necessarily because it's what you meant to, but because of how he's responding. Um, he is intentionally wanting more with you. A man who is wanting to bring you around friends, that then levels up to bringing around family. That is a guy that wants more. Okay. And so if that's not where you're at, it is important to not just communicate that, but then also to put a pause on whatever access you're giving him that continues to give the impression that that is where you're going.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, go
So
for it.
I went on someone else's live, and he put it from the perspective, if I had a guy friend and he was like, I'm hooking up with this girl and she wants to spend more time. He was like, wouldn't that sound like to you that that girl likes him? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, that's what's happening. And it's like, the reason why I don't understand, like, that is what's happening and me stringing him along
Hmm.
is because I was getting the energy that maybe he liked me, so I just threw it out there. I don't know how I feel about you yet. And his reaction to that was him saying, I love what we have going on. I do want to keep things casual. I do want to keep seeing other people. And to me, that was very confusing because I said, I don't know how I feel about you. And you took that as there is a possibility of me liking you and furthering this. And the moment you heard that, you put the brakes on it and you said, wait, you should stay casual. And like we were talking yesterday because like he mentioned before, like, I want you to be able to come to me and like open up to me and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, I even with platonic relationships, I'm not that type of person. And that's why I'm trying to like work on myself. I am in therapy. Even my therapist was like, you should move on from him because you're using him. And I'm like, when I was explaining to him, my therapist said this yesterday, he was like, but we're both using each other. We know what's going on. And it's like, yes, I know that. But when I explain it to other people, they like, they think that he likes me. And I'm like, I don't see it. Like,
Hmm.
um, so yeah, even us talking yesterday was like, him being like, yeah, we both know what it is. And he was like, I think what we have is great. I would consider this as friends with benefits. Um, to me personally, I don't think I would want friends with benefits because I know me, like I've been in that situation of being friends with benefits and wanting to like talk to someone every day and stuff, and I'm
Hmm.
gonna end up liking them.
Hmm.
And it's not that I'm not ready for that, but in a way, I'm not ready for that. So it feels like we're on the same page, but at the same time, like, why is he bringing up, I know some couples that, like, live separately together. Why are you
Hmm.
bringing other couples up? We're not a couple, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah, so I think what we're missing though, in this that I just want you to consider is that this is a misalignment issue, right? So we pay attention more to behaviors instead of words, actions instead of what is said. Even though there is a part of you that says, I'm not ready for friends with benefits, that is also something that you introduced through your behaviors in connection to him. And
And I think
so
that's, oh, go ahead, sorry.
yeah, I'm just saying, so because that's what you've introduced to him, that is what he's receiving. And because that is what he's receiving and communicating, now he wants more. That level of access only progresses. And because it's something you either you're saying you don't want, but yet you're staying in a lane and environment where that connection is continuing to be cultivated, that's where the confusion lies. You're saying one thing, but your behaviors are showing something different. So
From,
from what?
from what I've explained, do you think he's also doing that too?
Yes,
Okay,
I think both of you
okay.
are doing that. And there has to be a clear statement, a clear explanation of what you want. And instead of listening to what he is uh how do I want to say this? Instead of listening to what he's saying, that's part of it. Pay attention to how he's responding. Okay? Because you have to there's got to be some level of alignment here in order for y'all to be able to move forward in a healthy direction based off of what you value. Okay.
Yeah.
Friends with benefits and all those kind of things. First and foremost, I never see any kind of healthiness to that. That opens up a lot of doors. And I'm not trying to again impute on telling anybody how to live their life. I always come from an angle of living from your values, living healthily, and making healthy decisions that make the most sense for where you are and where you're going. So what we're dealing with here is you're saying, "Hey, I'm healing and I'm wanting to be intentional about some other things, but I've got this relationship on the side that part of it you enjoy, but part of it you feel confused by because there seems to be wanting more that you don't want, and there's miscommunication and misalignment. And so we
Yeah.
have to get on the same page on those things. And if the same page isn't granted, and this is how we know, you'll say one thing, this is what I'm after, this is what I want. And either he agrees, but his behaviors show different, you're still confused, then that means we need to walk away from this because now we're wasting time. And we're not
Yeah.
just wasting time, we're also just continuing to perpetuate the cloud of confusion that you're willingly staying in at this point
Yeah.
beyond this moment.
I definitely agree. Because while his words are saying like, "Oh, this is a friends with benefits, this is great,"
Hmm.
his actions aren't lining up. Because when I am like setting an alarm, like I said, he's like, "Oh, you're setting your alarm for in the morning," and I'm like, "No, I'm setting my alarm for 12 a.m. so I can wake up and go home." And he's acting as if like, "Why are you going home?" Or, like
I
he
want you
wants me
I,
to.
I want you to realize that you're doing the same.
Like, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like his confusion is making me confused
Mm,
because I feel like when we first started, or like we're still in the, I don't know, how I do things is like I don't want to text every day.
hmm.
I want to go over there. Us catching up a little bit is fine. We hook up. I set my alarm for 12. I go home. He'll walk me outside of his apartment complex and make sure I get to my car. But for me personally, I'm a fist pump person. And every time I do it, I feel like he's expecting me to open up and be like, "Okay, I'm gonna hug you goodbye," and I'm like, that isn't what it is. Like, and again, he's saying I'm fine with being like friends with benefits, but it's like your actions are not aligning with that. Like, so what?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I do want to explain that dichotomy to you. Um, because it's not random. When so there's okay. So in a woman's body, right? There's chemicals released known as oxytocin. Okay, are you familiar with oxytocin and vasopressin terminologies? Okay. So what you're seeing is after a man of obviously experiences a form of sexual relations, he does get this form of oxytocin later. Okay, that obviously is sometimes even science may say 500 times more than what a woman may be experiencing prior to a relational connection that is building a further emotional bond between the two. Okay. So this happens after sex, which is probably why you're seeing like, oh, he all of a sudden wants to cuddle. He all of a sudden wants to do all these other kind of things because that is a sign to a man afterwards of further closeness and connection to the lady he's with. Okay. So which is why it is very out of the box and out of the norm for somebody to engage in this and then just go because it was never designed for that. However, okay, understanding that that is how he's operating in this moment, and of course this is not where you are with it. This is where I'm saying the misalignment is, because even though you see it as okay, cool, like we're here, we're gonna do it, and then I'm gonna just go on about my day, we'll catch up when we catch up. In his mind, he seems like he could be a very kind, nice guy, all the things, and perhaps maybe this is a window for him to want more, even though it's not communicated. He's clearly enjoying the benefits there. I just think it's important that you are honest about what you are ready for, what you are wanting, so that we can get on the same page about that. Because right now, both of y'all are kind of operating on different timetables and time zones, or I don't know how you want to say it, just behaviors. Okay. Um, if he if he treated her, and I like what Miss Brittany Gold said. She's a phenomenal coach on here too, so I really appreciate her words and insights. If he treated her as she wanted, that would be jacked up, right? And so I don't know if you would really like if it was roles reversed. And so that's why the perspective that you shared earlier when somebody said, well, if it was a guy who had a friend who was a girl and she was saying she wanted to see more of him and all the things, what would you think? Because that is the same situation that is cultivated here, that we it's not to necessarily put into a category of like, okay, you're right and he's wrong, he's right, you're wrong. We just want to be aware of that because again, it sounds like it doesn't align with what you value and where you are and what you're wanting to do. And
Yeah,
so,
I think
yeah.
it's definitely um the value of it all.
Hmm.
Like I'm 27. I've only been dating for 2 years.
Sure.
That's gotten me into a 1 year relationship that I felt like was very enmeshed, and that's why I'm trying to find myself and create community for myself. And then I had like a 4 month situationship where I was like, the way the guy in this situation is acting, I feel like that's the way I was acting in that.
Mm.
I do agree with the comment. He just seems like a nice guy giving his benefit. That's the way that I see it up until he starts acting weird, and then people are like, "Oh, he likes you." But to me personally, I think it might be, yeah, like you're saying, like an alignment thing. Me personally, if he treated me as if I wanted to be treated, I wouldn't be bothered by that. I feel like if anything, he's correct with me on that, because when I was saying like I don't know how I feel about you, I feel like I got to that point because I got the notion that he liked me. So it was kind of like me trying to figure that out. Do I like him? And then when he said, "Well, we're casual," I was like, "Wait, you're right." Like he snapped me back into reality of like, does that make sense? Instead of like, I could have easily like I could easily go along and be like, "Oh yeah, let me meet your friends," but um I know that will make me end up being even more confused. Um, and I think that's what you're saying, just the alignment of it all, because it's like, why? I don't know.
So let me ask you a question. Um, choosing from a lane of choosing from a lane of abundance, what do you want?
Um, I really want to focus on myself. I think I do have a hard time like opening up to people and connecting with people. I don't think I come from a very like traditional background, so that's why I'm like, I feel like even with my ex, I that was the first person I opened up to, so I think I relied too heavily on him. So it's like I don't want to fall back into patterns that I saw myself go into so easily. So it's like I want someone that can maintain like boundaries and relationship. Like, okay, I know you just asked me a question, but I'm going to explain this really quickly.
Sure.
To me, the reason why we're out of alignment and it doesn't make sense to me is because from one end, he is wanting me to stay over, but me staying over, it would be different if I stayed over and we pillow talked all night, but we're not. He's like, "Oh, you're not staying over. I stay over. We just hook up all night." So in my head, that is what you want. If you truly like want it to progress into something, me personally, that's how I ended up in um my last relationship. We were doing friends with benefits, and then I started hanging out with him, and then casually we ended up in a relationship. No, I want someone that moves with intention. Like we have only gone on one date together. That will not, to me personally, no matter how many times I go over there and sleep with him, if if I see no intentions of you actually wanting to be in a relationship with me, I will never see it as that. That is my mindset. So you telling me, "Oh, I want you to meet my friends." I know why you want me to meet your friends. It's because you want us to slowly go into a relationship or that's probably what he's comfortable with, but that is not a relationship to me. Me
Okay.
hanging out with your friends and but you told him you didn't want him. I didn't necessarily tell him that. I just told him I want to get to know people. I'm like I see things as casual. Um, I'm just a very what is it called? I am a more forward person. So in my head, I just assume what everyone else is doing is them being forward until it starts to not seem like you're being forward and it's like a back and forth type of thing. And that's when I feel like it makes me confused. Does that make sense?
I see why it makes you confused because you are confused.
Maybe
Like,
I am confused.
and so yeah, like so the confusion that is kind of leading the way though is on one hand, if you do, so you're wanting to build something more intentional within yourself, focusing on yourself, needing community. Again,
Yes.
engaging in
And
relationships isn't wrong and isn't bad, but at the same time, we're moving casually through those relationships. Is that what I'm hearing?
yes, and if I were to get a relationship, I feel like yes, she's afraid of getting hurt. That's what it is. Like my friends were even asking me, "Do you see yourself dating him?" And I said, "I don't know if I see myself dating him because I have not been dating him. I have been sleeping with him. Us
Yeah.
pillow talking and you telling me about your deepest, that's not me getting to know you. So even like me saying I want to be intentional with building community, if I'm going to end up in a relationship, I want that to also be intentional. Not us sleeping around with each other, us pillow talking, and all of a sudden, hey, I don't want to sleep with anyone else. I just want to that to me, that is not how you get into a relationships.
Okay.
Like and the thing is, have I ever sat down and explained that to him? No. Why haven't I? Because again, when I said I don't know how I feel about you, all he heard was there's a chance she might like me and there's a chance she might want to go exclusive with me. So let me pump the brakes here. That's what it felt like to me. And him
Hmm.
doing that was kind of like, oh, okay, so you don't want to move intentionally. I don't need to explain anything to you. I will leave at 12 and I will give you a fist bump.
Yeah. So
Does that still make me sound confused? Or?
no, I think what you're saying is clear. I just think the it doesn't change the confusion that's centering
Yeah.
on this situation. I want to ask you this: what is it about the casualness of this connection? Um, how do I want to ask this? What
No,
about?
just say it how you want.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm just trying to find the way to word it the
okay.
best way without using too many big terminologies. Uh, so what are you trying to escape through this casual connection? Uh,
What am I
what are you
trying
trying
to
to escape?
escape? No, that's a crazy question because I do feel like us hooking up, I have realized I do find it as an escape. Um,
From
I
what?
feel like it, just my everyday life, I feel like I'm going through like a lot of everyday things. You know, that's why I'm in therapy.
Sure.
Um, and that's outside of building community and stuff like that. Um, I don't know if that makes sense. I'm just trying to escape everyday life. And I felt like that's what I was doing within my last relationship. And when I realized that after we broke up, I did not like it. Why am I looking for another person to soothe my own inner like insecurities? Or like, why emotionally am I still relying on an ex boyfriend? I need to rely on myself. I need to like fulfill myself at the end of the day. So I feel like while I'm working on that on my everyday life and going to therapy, it is nice to like have someone to call and be like, "Hey, can like let me know when you're free. Let's get a few drinks. Let's hook up. This is escape." And then as soon as I walk through that door leaving his apartment, I'm back in my own reality. I'm back to focusing on myself and like fulfilling my own stuff. And I also think I struggle with like balancing everything out. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to, I guess, play around and mess with someone's feelings. And I didn't have the intentions because I don't know how to balance everything out. Um, Like, I always tell people I feel like I sound like a stereotypical toxic man when they say that. Like, yeah, I'm trying to figure myself out, but it's like, no, I really am. Um, me personally, I don't think like I want my next relationship to be like a long term one where I
Hmm.
really do know this person. Um, and I don't think that is something that I can fall into very quickly or with the things I'm navigating in my everyday life. I don't know if I
Yeah,
answered your
you
question.
you did. Yeah. So last question, I have some thoughts. Do you find the therapy that you're in helpful?
Um, this is the best therapist I've had so far.
Hmm.
I feel like there can be better.
Okay.
Um, I feel like it has been a little bit helpful. Um, this is the first therapist. Sorry, my throat is really dry. Hold on.
No, you're good.
This is the first therapist where, like, I analyze things a lot. I have OCD, so I'm really good at like pulling things apart and like seeing, I guess, the reality of it all. So previous therapists, I've gone to them and they've been like, "You seem very self-aware. Why are you here?" So this is the first one where she's like, "You're actually doing these things wrong." Um, so I'm benefiting from it. Maybe not at the rate I would like to, because I just want everything to be solved. Um, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't ever want to step on any other professional's toes in what
If
they're
your
doing.
suggestion is go to someone else, please let
Um
me know because
well, I would say us working together would be phenomenal, but
not you trying to be in your bag.
well,
I'm
just
just
from
kidding.
a coaching aspect, right? Because I
Yeah.
think what you're missing, which I'm not saying you can't get in therapy, but
Yeah.
I'm listening to you talk, and there's cognitive dissonance that is present all throughout this. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't believe you're actually truly trying to change. Anybody who's going on a journey to try to experience something different in their life is going to bump their head along the way. It's not about getting it perfect. Therapy and coaching definitely would help, right? So, but what I'm saying is that there's a part of you that says, "Hey, I know that there are some things in my life that I need to deal with, and there are some things that I'm running from my life, or running away from
Yeah.
life and through sex, that I know I need to deal with." But there's still this glaring cognitive dissonance where you feel like your healing and your life is in two separate areas and columns, where the
Yeah.
life you live outside of the bedroom is everything, that is moving, progressing, but for some reason there's an excuse to put it on halt, to just find somebody to connect with, to basically not even necessarily reset you. I don't think that's the case, but it definitely doesn't progress you, because in some world we're believing that our healing stops, and we can just kind of overlook the need to say no in certain areas that we really need to set healthier boundaries to, and have healthier alignment in, so that way it consistently flows throughout our life. um, like, I'll put it in this analogy. When I had an injury to my lower left leg when I was in middle school, it was pretty deep, but the healing didn't stop when I left the hospital and I went home. Right, like the hospital was the place I got nurtured. I got the medicines. I got the therapy. I got all those things. But I also had to do my due diligence to keep up with the medicines, to keep up with the walking, to keep up with the therapy outside of what the hospital gave, in order to fulfill the healing that was necessary for that injury. Otherwise, I was what? Regressing. And if I
Yeah.
began to regress, that was always because I wasn't taking care of business outside of what the orders of the doctors were to reach a full capacity of healing. And one of the greatest signs that we are actually regressing is when we go to put these things to the test. And not only are we not necessarily making the decisions that we know we should, but in the event of it, we're continuing to make it kind of integrating it into our lives still, as if it's a part B to Danny. Like there's a part A to Danny, and then there's a part B to Danny. When in reality, there needs to be a consistent flow of who Danny is, stemming from her identity, where the decision she's making is a consistency in every area. If I choose to make the decision to heal my lower left leg in the hospital, but then I get home and all of a sudden I don't want to use my crutches and I don't want to use the leg sleeve and I don't want to wrap it in bandages and I don't want to take the medicine, then chances are I'm not going to heal. And then if I come back to the hospital and say, "Well, y'all did the surgery. You did the surgery, you got the infection out, you wrapped it up, you had straws, you drained it, so why am I not healed?" It's not because the doctors didn't do their job, it's because I'm not doing my part in continuing what the doctors prescribed to get to a fullness of healing, consistency, right? And so that is what we're trying to deal with here. And it's not just showing in this relationship. I'm pretty sure if we had enough conversations, we could probably see it in various other areas. And it's not to create further shame or anything of that sort, but we do want to not just get aware of this, we do need to actually put tangible applications to these things and put it to the test every day and allow ourselves to slowly progress, because I need you to be feeling like you're safe enough with yourself before trying to find that safety through the lens of someone else. And right now, we are not safe enough with who Danny is. So Danny is looking for the means of finding that through other people in momentary experiences that go from 8 p.m. to 12 p.m., but the rest of her life is what she makes it. And that is really where the struggle is. And we just want to be curious about that and tap a little further into it, because safety, the sexual experiences that you can have, and I know it's not necessarily about sex, but just from the standpoint of what it's designed to be, it's maximized when both people feel safe within themselves first before each other. And so even in the casualness that you're experiencing, it still ain't much, if anything, because there's a lack of safety within you that allows you to be fully present, fully available. And then you'll probably see somebody else attaching to a version of you that you aren't even sure of in who you are and where you are currently. And so that's why we if we're going to invest in ourselves, there has to be a consistent lane of alignment here with what we value and what we're after. And if we can create that and then constantly recheck that, revisit that, compare our lives to that, make decisions from that, I think you're going to see a variety of different results in your life tangibly, than just thinking it through. Because when we move with confusion, we only create from confusion. You can't create, clarity from a place of moving in confusion. It's the other way around.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I hope that made sense, but there is
Yeah.
something, yeah, there's really a lot there that I want us to kind of tap into. Um, and I think from a coaching perspective and with all the programs that I have available, especially when it comes to getting to security, um, you're a perfect fit because this is where we're actually able to get some tangible direction.
No, yeah, I definitely agree. And that's why I was saying therapy has been working so far good.
Yeah.
Like I briefly mentioned to her how I wanted to get back into reading. She threw out like, "Oh, join a book club." And I think my next four sessions, she kept asking me like, "Have you looked at the book clubs?" And I found myself getting annoyed, like, "Damn, like she keeps asking me." But I'm like, "No, like I did mention it, but I still haven't done it." And it's like now I'm reading a book to go to a book club. Um, but it's like I get what you're saying. Like
Hmm.
I need to be doing that around like all aspects instead of trying to focus on one aspect of my life and like being intentional, but I need to do that everywhere else.
Yeah. I call it a leak. It's an identity leak. Like if you think of like a home that has a crack in the wall and it's got a leak and it starts in the basement, it floods your carpet and your floors in the basement. But if it doesn't go attended, guess what happens? It starts flooding everywhere else in the home, right? You start seeing water and all this kind of stuff in your kitchen, you in your living room, and all of a sudden, what was just one area of a leakage now turns into a whole scene where your home is drowning almost, and you can't even walk in the front door. And that's because there's a leak somewhere, but the leak is not needing more tips and tricks. The leak is not needing more information. I run into so many people who are really good at identifying problems and then think identifying the problem is the solution. No, it's just part of it. The solution is now looking at what else does this mean for me to get to the place I need to be mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. We love revelations, light bulb moments, but you notice the people that genuinely change are those who apply those light bulb moments into their life. And because they run into walls and challenges, they don't see that as failure. They see that as an opportunity and invitation, because the pain is a sign of growth, not a sign of diminish. And I want you to find that. I want you to find it. This is interesting. I kind of turn it into like a gamified manner with clients, but I want you to see it as something to engage in and to create the fun around, because right now there's a lack of safety within yourself there, and just the tolerance for difficulty and pain. We got to be able to expand that a little bit in order for us to engage in this in the best way possible, because we're not going to get where we want to go thinking that the answer is to continue avoiding the hard thing. You either deal with the hard thing now, or you deal with it in the back end. And sounding from what you said, I want a long-term relation, or eventually wanting a long-term relationship, someone who's intentional, okay, someone that is investing into me, and they're showing me that it's not just through pillow talk and consolation prize sex or whatever the case is. Then we want to get ahead of that, not to be perfect, okay, not to be perfect, but to progress into the version of you that you want to be, that's safe, that's secure, that's peace, that's relaxed, that's not confused, that's walking in clarity. You know what you want, you know where you're going, and you don't mind walking away from people who don't align. And that all starts with who you are. Does that make sense?
So y'all are saying I need to walk away. Yeah.
um I mean, I think what we need to do before we make a decision to walk away, which I mean can be the legitimate answer, we need to get an
Yeah.
understanding of your alignment and values. We don't we
Which
just
and that's that.
we don't even know that. And what,
Yeah.
the how
Let
would
me.
you, the abundant version of you, choose to make this decision? Not out of fear,
Yeah.
but and not out of lack, but out of confidence.
I definitely think I'm just moving out of fear. Like,
Yeah.
let's say he made it very clear that he liked me. I feel like I wouldn't run away from that. I would just be like, hey, like, I understand you like me. I do still want to take things slow. I do want to get to know you. Like, let's, like move outside of what we're doing. But I get, and within the 2 years of me dating, I am so used to constant communication, guys being upfront with liking me. So it's something that this is just all new territory that I'm like in. So I think that's why I'm like, does he like me? Like, do you want to sleep with someone you don't like? No, you're right. That's a valid question. I don't know. And that's the thing. He keeps throwing out there like, I really mess with you and stuff like that. And when he says that, that's when I start to not like it because it's like I feel like it's tiptoeing around maybe what he would like to say. Again, I'm very straightforward, and when people aren't like that with me, I'm kind of like, "What do you want from me?" type of thing.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I do think it's like a lot of inner work, inner self, just in all aspects that I need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So thank you.
let me say this. I wanna give this to you. I think I need to get you on the calendar. That's what I think. Okay. I think just a session, and we'll go from there. All right. If you find value in it, we can get you into an active program, all the things, and take next steps. I think just getting a session with you and kind of identifying some things is going to be really helpful, and to pair it with what you're going through in therapy, not necessarily overtake it. And so I want to send you this link. All right. When can I get you on the books? What's the day that works for you?
Um, I usually work till 5 Monday through Friday.
Okay.
If you DM me, I'm pretty sure next Friday I go into work pretty early, so maybe after 4 would be a good time. But like on the weekends, anytime.
On the weekends? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's get you on the calendar for um no, I'm gonna be honest. I think there's a way that we can get this a lot earlier than a week. A
Oh,
lot earlier
okay.
than a week. So like you say you work until 5 weekdays? Is that what you said? Oh, I lost connection to you. Hold up. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna send you this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you this link.
Hello.
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello, hello.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. All right. So I just sent you the link
Oh,
to
it's lag.
it's lagging bad, huh? Okay. I just sent you the link. Let's get you on the calendar. All right. And I want to see you Monday, Tuesday. Okay. And just whatever time works best. We'll work around it. We'll figure it out. Okay. You said you get off early around the evening time. So wait, you just need 60 minutes. Just need 60 minutes. And we'll get all of this ironed out and then we'll go from there. All right. Because this is going to be a nice first step for you just to pair with what you're getting in therapy and doubling down from there. Because we just got to get aligned. We got to get aligned.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how bad the lag is, like if you can currently hear me.
I
And
can. I can. Yeah.
oh, oh, that's kind of embarrassing. Okay. No, yeah, I'll click the link. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Invest. Let's go. Okay. I want to see you. I'm looking to see you on these books. Okay. Don't play with
Yes.
this. This is you talking about investing in your healing. This is an opportunity. All right. So I want to see you.
Okay.
We're gonna work.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for
All right.
trusting me
Thank
with
you.
with what you got.
Bye.
All right. Appreciate you. Hey man, y'all put a one in the chat for Danny. Put a one in the chat. I appreciate that a ton, man. It's just I think this safe spaces like that, safe spaces like this matter. Okay, they matter. Because we just got to be able to process some things, man. This ain't about a trying to paint it in a right or wrong or anything of that sort, man. We just got to get some clarity, man. There are people out here who legitimately want to do the right thing, and they're just figuring it out. And sometimes in the process of figuring it out, it brings about some struggles and some troubles. But being patient with that stuff makes a world of a difference. And I'm excited to see her on the books and work with it. I appreciate you a ton, Miss Britt, for participating in that conversation. Your insights are always helpful. I appreciate you a ton. Um, Appreciate you a ton. You just got to see a low key coaching session all in one, uh, in one stream. So I appreciate you a ton. Um, but everybody else, man, welcome back. Again, safe space designed to build healthier, happier, and whole relationships with yourself, God, and others while building security that lasts beyond marriage, which sometimes includes us just navigating through some clouds of confusion and some misalignment in some areas. Okay. But we're here to breathe life into those things, not speak death over it. All right. And so if you got questions, ask away. I got some more time here, maybe about another like 30 minutes or so. But that was a great call. And all of it was worth it. I have a core framework video on my YouTube channel that is designed to tell you basically the heart behind everything we do here and what it really looks like to get to a place of security. If you like that video, just send me a message with the keyword video and I'll send it over to you. It just explains all the framework, everything that we move from behind here, and what it means for you to actually become secure in a healthy way. So be sure to do that. Go to the top of my page for free relational diagnostic, attachment style quiz, all the things to bring your relationships to life. That is going to be very, very important. All right. Um, man. Also, we just came off of a great series titled Dating App Dilemma. Okay, dating app dilemma. We just kind of walk through how to use dating apps in a healthy way, how to date healthily from a lane of alignment, clarity, or direction, all the things, not just dating apps in general, but just dating. And so you guys want to check that out. It's replayed over on my YouTube channel, where a lot of my long form teachings are going to rest for sure moving forward for the future of this work. And so you guys want to definitely check that out. And um, man, is there anything else? Anything else? A free week trial of my secure program is alive and active right now. So be sure to send me a message, DM me with the keyword secure, and I'd love to get started on that. Um, to be able to get you going from anxious and avoiding attachment to secure attachment in a healthy way, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. A lot of this work is identity work, man. I hope y'all can tell. A lot of this work is grounded in identity. Okay, like you're not going to be able to cheat the system with new tricks and tips and all these things. You've got to be able to address the core of why you do things, why you do what you do, where does it come from, the programming's available, and being willing to allow those things to be challenged as you grow in your healing. Okay, you don't really get to move forward and skip that level. That's kind of how we have people having access to things earlier than they should. This is how we learn how people, what people are really doing with their lives, because they get access to certain things and we start to see how they move and how they operate. And this is an exposure and it serves as a mirror. One of my biggest perspectives on relationships is that they serve as mirrors. Okay. I know the breakup was tough. I know the separation was tough. I know the relationship you may currently be in is challenging, of course, barring anything that is physical abuse and all the stuff there. Right. But I'm talking about you can't get on the same page. It's hard to communicate. You argue about the smallest things. There's a lack of safety somewhere, but that lack of safety, instead of making the other person change to make you feel comfortable, needs to start with you asking yourself, what am I doing? Where am I not showing up? What is their behaviors revealing in me that I am not comfortable about, that I'm actually more upset about, that I see reflecting back to me? And when we see relationships as that and not people who are just attacking you, against you, fighting against you, I think you have a lot more of a higher success rate in relationships. That's how you get to marriages that last 20, 30 years healthily. Okay. Not because you're surviving through all those years, like many people do, but because you're actually doing it in a healthy way. And so that's a lot of where this stuff comes from. But again, explain deeper in future videos. All right. Especially the one that's a cornerstone of all the work here. Okay. Um, so man, if there's no more questions, listen here. I'm not gonna force it. Okay. I'm not gonna force it. It seems like we were here for Danny, and that is good enough for me. Okay. Um, and that is what will make a difference here. Okay. So no more questions. If there's any more questions, any more thoughts, anything else you guys want to share in there, I'll give a few more minutes. But if not, again, I appreciate you guys a ton. Nice little Saturday reset. Be sure again to check out all the links on the socials, top of my page. If you're interested in a session, be sure to DM me with the keyword session. If you heard anything from this stream replay that is beneficial to you, and we can get on the books and really work through some things. And be sure to check out the cornerstone video of everything we do here, designed to help you build a healthier, secure life. All right. Check out the top of my page for relational diagnostic, all the things. And please check out more content that's coming your way across all channels here soon. All right. Appreciate you a ton, Miss Brittany Gold. You have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to everybody else, whether you're watching the replay over on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the things. Appreciate you a ton. Enjoy your Saturday, enjoy your weekend, and we will catch up next week. All right. Monday, 1 p.m., coming back with another show. Okay. Appreciate you a ton. And as always, until next time, be easy and be breezy. Peace. Hey, y'all take it easy.